All right. Hello, hello. How are we all doing? Great to be back. Let me know if the audio is too loud or not loud enough. That would be lovely to know. What are we thinking? I'm going to throw in a poll. I'm going to wait for a few more people to sort of roll in. I'm going to put in a poll to say music in the background or no music. So then you can put your own music on. Nathan's Arts, how you doing? Orkin, Innes, Devi, Omkar, Travis, Breezy, what's going on? So I'm just going to do a quick little poll. Music, question mark? Yes, no, start poll. All right, let the people decide. So today, Vinny, what's going on? So today, I'm thinking, Laureen, great to have you back. I want to play around with shapes and I want to play around with characters. This character in particular, like I want to kind of finish the stream off of seeing how far we can take her, whether it's just even just cleaning up the line work and sort of adding things to her, sort of making the old, what's the word? I don't know, just making it look better. Uh-oh, we've got lag. Let me close Pinterest. I think that could be a big issue. Pinterest, get out of here. Actually, I want to throw some faces on here before I completely get rid of it. Maybe this dude. Even if I just want to do some warm-ups, you know, just with some faces to have some fun with it. And then we've got to close Pinterest, I think. And then maybe this guy, there's some cool shapes we can play around with. All right. Pinterest be gone. Usually that fixes some stuff. All right, how's the poll going? 65% no. I'll leave it up for a little bit longer. Value Babe, what's going on? NGE Gambart. I'm doing well. How you doing? Kiliana Kos. Fantastic. Great to have you. Dijlena 13. Welcome. Now, I will let you guys know on Instagram, there's a much better view on YouTube. It's a less squished view, and I won't accidentally cut it off on the display there. Artistic Spartan, how you doing? So let's see if this... Yeah. I also had smoothing. Yep. So yeah, if you ever have an issue with Photoshop or other programs not working and you've got Pinterest open, bloody close Pinterest. Samu, Prev, you're too kind. Okay. Still a little bit on the janky side. I'm not a fan of that. Olive B. Oh, fantastic. That's cool. All right. So I reckon we'll go no music. The people have spoken. Nani, good. How you doing? And poll, no music. All right. It's time to throw your favorite playlist in. Whack on Spotify. That's what I'm going to do. And what do we reckon? Get that over here. Dismiss. Now that's coming through that one. Let me just change the audio input. Hopefully you guys are doing the same. Get like a chill playlist on, or whatever you want really. I'm not hearing it, so I don't care. Connecting the Bluetooth. Can you guys hear me again? Cool. All right, we're back. All right. I'm a professional. So I saw this this little house thing. Ennis, nah, haven't figured out the green line. It's here, and I think it's there to stay. So it is what it is. It's not the worst thing in the world. So also a little bit of show and tell. Picked up this bloody beauty. Oh, highly recommend. Highly recommend. Like, let me just get to it. Like one of my favorite pages. Camera. Like Rob Ruppel. Not entirely sure how to pronounce it. I don't even know if you can see that very well because of the lighting. Yeah, but like it's like Graphic LA, right? So he's gone around and like done some studies of Los Angeles, but he's got really good like notes and tips on like value construction and that kind of stuff alongside it. Highly recommend getting this one. It's fantastic. It's kind of inspired me to do a little bit more to do a little bit of this house building kind of thing. So what I'm going to do first, I'm going to whip open my updated flat flowy, which will be available soon. All right, we're just going to go have some fun. Maybe even making some quick thumbnails. Something I've got to kind of get into the habit of a little bit, you know? Moil motion or Moi motion. Gartery, thank you very much. Moi motion. What do you usually get your references? Everywhere nowadays. Pinterest, real life, myself. Adam, how we doing? Let me just turn this music down. Whip him on shuffle. And let's have some fun, hey? All right. Let's find our composition. I mean, it's really just going to be a study, so it's not going to be anything super special. It's going to be a good little warm-up, get shapes. I want to do a little reel of how some of these, like, cars and buildings and whatever, how it actually has helped me a lot with my character stuff, even just from the perspective side of things, you know? So I'm going to try and do a bit of a different aspect ratio. I'm thankful. I do have this green line now running down the bloody side of the Cintiq, which is just, I think it's just bad luck, you know. I bought it secondhand. I haven't done anything for it to do that. It's just, it is what it is. But I don't know if you guys can even see it. I think, hold on, you guys on YouTube will be able to see this, hopefully. Maybe. Whoop, hold on. You see this? So what I'm talking about is that. That little bloody monstrosity right here runs all the way down. And it's kind of like flickery, which is annoying as fuck. But we can make lemons out of lemonade, or the other way around. We have got a plumb line, which we can use at any time that we want. We've got a guideline that we can just whip it over. That's a vertical line. So, yeah. Making the best out of a bad situation. Yeah. Thank you, Dan. No. Okay. Output. Input. Output. Testing. It's okay? It's back. We're back. Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Oh, thank fuck for that. You spend all this bloody money on all this shit to just work, and then it doesn't. That's all right. That's the worst thing that's happened, and we're doing okay. Okay. Now you guys can't hear. Yeah, it was Graphic LA on Instagram. Sorry. All right. We're back. Oh, so it was pretty like robotic. Yeah, fuck, weird. Weird. Drop a molly. Oh shit. All right, my apologies, everyone. Okay, we're back. We got to know what you were ranting about. Fuck, I can't remember. Something that wasn't important at all. Wasn't important at all. It was a fun effect. Okay. So let's get back to our little warm-up, shall we? My God, this is a bit of a schmozzle. All right. This is going to be a fun little perspective on like a smaller scale. So what I'm doing, please let me know if you can hear me. Oh, also I mentioned, because I'm listening to music, my own music, let me know if I'm shouting. So I want to like balance. You know what I mean? Okay. And we're back. This one is pretty large. This Vinny. This is 4,000 by 4,000. You don't need to go that big. In fact, I even saw. I can't remember who it was. Yeah, I can't remember who it was, but they mentioned, or they had the idea of doing it on a much smaller scale, because your brushes will work faster, especially if... Hold on, sorry. Got other technical difficulties. Mamma mia. Okay. Yeah, doing a smaller scale canvas size could be beneficial, like a really small one, just for like thumbnails and stuff, which I might experiment with. Not today. Isn't wonky enough. Is not wonky enough. We need to fix this. Better-ish. All right, that'll do. We could do a bunch more thumbnails, but I want to get to character stuff, if I'm honest. What am I looking for? Plugins. Filthy. Where are ya? Excuse me. Where is the plugins going? Let's just go workspace. Reset it all. Thank you. All right, so we're on fill. What do we want? We want that background. That. I don't want that color. Blue background, that'll do. But let's grab a bit of this and give ourselves like a little bit of variation in the sky. We work backwards, back to front, if that makes sense. The original Ferrari, not today, because never mention this again. You never know. Nogori, hi, I have a question. Will there be a discount for Black Friday on your course? Links in the description. I think it's the last day on Proko's channel and Proko's website. That last day, good call. Proko's channel, links in the description. Maddie, how you doing? So one thing with the sky, so I've just made a clipping mask here. And you'll notice I'm like working on this like left-hand corner. This green line is doing some weird stuff to my brain. Like everything, like the green line's here. So everything on this side, this is for my YouTube people. Like I don't want to like be just painting right in the middle of it. So sorry if that's annoying. But hopefully it will kind of just disappear into my peripheries. All right, let's get cooking. As the sky gets to the horizon, it can get a little bit warmer. So it's not just like a pure one color kind of blue. So we can get this and we can scooch it towards a little warmer, just for a bit of vibrancy. Maybe we do some clouds just to give it a bit of spice, you know. Maybe aim to have some of them behind. Just some little ones, nothing too outrageous. Cool. All right, big shape of the building. Let's go. Have you tried a newer cable? Might not be a screen issue. I haven't. The question is what cable? Because this one can do USB-C and HDMI. I've tried it on everything. The bad thing is that I've found when I turn it on with no cables connected and the Wacom like logo shows up, it still shows. So I don't think it's a display issue, which is unfortunate. Okay, so I'm just going to create a little bloody outline for our thingo. All right, yellow. That'll do. Whip a bit of yellow in there, you know. I kind of just want to do this all on one layer. Or maybe just have the background, but then just have everything else on a single layer. That might be the way to go, just for speed. So the goal of this is to create the illusion of light. And how are we going to go about doing that? We are going to observe the differences between the values. We're going to think about where the light source is coming from. It's sunlight, kind of coming down this way. At the moment, I'm kind of just blocking in the local colors. Now, the way people describe local colors kind of is, it confuses the shit out of me if I didn't understand it further, you know? Like local cut, like, how do I, This is just me thinking out loud. It might be wrong. It might be inaccurate. Take it with a pinch of salt. Things don't have color per se, right? Objects have properties that allow light to do different things to those properties and react with those properties. Because without light, there is no color. So it's got to be the light reacting with something on each object. So when people explain, or when I heard people explain local color as it's as if the object wasn't affected by light, that never made any sense to me. Because if it wasn't affected by light, you wouldn't see anything. Silver. Work is amazing. Really love it. By the way, you ever do a live using Procreate? I have in the past. I might bring that back. Tyler, thank you. Eduardo, what's going on from Brazil? Fat Cappy. Maze, BR, no chat, Bora, Brazil. Not sure what that means, but how you doing? So, what I was saying is like, yeah, it really confused me because without light, there's no way to judge anything because it's just going to be dark. But light influences everything. So I guess a better way to do it, or to mention local colors, or the way that I like to think about local colors, is what are the properties of that object that allow the light to do the work to reflect back to your eyes. Or you could think of it in a more incorrect way, but kind of a more way that could wrap your head around it, is if it was in like a neutral daylight diffused setting, which is going to be closest to the local colors as you're probably going to get, if that makes sense. Because light influences basically everything, the color of everything. But yeah, that used to confuse the living shit out of me. I was like, what do you mean if it's not affected by light? Like, okay, but how am I seeing it if it's not affected by light? I don't know, maybe I was just a bit, I was thinking about it too hard, and other people probably understood exactly what that was meaning. Bit of the foreground, you know. So these are super helpful, right? I think that's what I was saying when I went all robot voicey. These kind of studies, particularly with understanding the perspective and all that kind of stuff, is super helpful for my character stuff, you know? Because if you start to think all objects are the same, like if you start to think about things not as what they are, but just as objects in 3D space, it gives you a hell of a lot of freedom. I'll tell you that. Like this, let's say the perspective of this going back behind here, that little like T line that you've got, like here, right? Even how this overlaps and that overlaps this object. It's the same thing that I'm thinking about, say like with this ear. It's all connected. There's no like wasted like time, I guess, if you're studying other things, you know. Olive B, what's your advice on drawing beards? I've always struggled with drawing them and never have really been able to get them looking right. It depends what style you're going for, you know. But just like all the time, you're gonna like every time I say this, you're gonna get sick of me saying it. Break it down into its largest forms. Like if you're thinking about a beard, think about it as like a solid object first, instead of all the tiny little hairs. Then you can start to carve in the details. So what I'm doing here is starting to add the illusion of light which is a hell of a lot of fun. And just with that, and as I, let's move him up here, and as I start to add it, so this was just a multiply layer, and the reason I chose the multiply layer with a blue tint, because of the reflection of the sky, it's not as much over here, but we've got full control over what we do on our own drawings. So I want to pump the illusion of that blue sky a little bit more. All right, illusion of light. This is probably going to come down a little bit here. Boom, boom. Now, what I've always said with layer modes and stuff like that, it's a means to an end. I'll be able to get this same effect just with straight up painting on the same layer. It's a speed. It's a tool to help with speed. And we'll get to some character stuff later. Don't worry. Now these seats are going to be in light a little bit more because they're scooched back from the shadow. I'm not being perfect with any of these lines or anything like that. Let's make this a little bit more like that, and let's add some texture. One thing I've learnt from that book, Graphic LA, is when you're adding like textures and stuff, I might add a little bit of the hue shifts, try and do it in perspective. All right, so as I'm adding these little indications of whatever, like the ground. Come on. All right, I want to make sure that this is kind of like 1 point perspective. I want to make sure that they're going like back in space. All right, I don't just want to randomly put stuff wherever. Every little thing is an opportunity to show the viewer what's going on in context. Cool, cool, cool. And then we can grab this one, maybe do it a smidge. Just to give it a bit of texture, you know, something different. Now, what else can we do? Let's add the rest of this building here. I think it's time just to merge it all down. Merge it all down. Come on. Yeah, done. Merge it all down. It's happened. Let's go. Now just finding little shapes, little indications that can make this a little bit more realistic. Like just that little sign on the side there is nice. Let's fill in this pipe in the background, then we can add a little bit of like an indication of the far background of like the houses in the background. and that kind of corrugated kind of deal there. So we're just building it up little bit by little bit, but also keeping a little bit looser with the shapes. We're getting suggestions from the reference. We're not trying to copy it wholesale. Anna Julia, how you doing? Last doodle. Work, life, and art balance is hard to manage. Any tips? Scheduling. Schedule stuff. If I'm ever feeling overwhelmed, like I've got so much to do, no time, blah, 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 blah. Schedule it in. It's not something that I always do, but it can help. Schedule art time, schedule family time, and just follow it, like, and actually do it. All right, let's take the line work off here, and let's work out some of these. Shapes here. Now this is going to give it the illusion of this going back in space. It's actually something, I'll give you guys a sneak preview of what I've been working on with the course as well. It's I've got to schedule stuff. I've got to start scheduling a lot more than I am now, because it can very quickly become overwhelming. Let's get the line tool. Get a little bit of this guy and just, all right. Darken that just a smidge. So this is quite meditative. Meditative. It's fun to do. If you're just looking for shapes, and as the illusion starts to take place, it's quite nice. Olive B, thank you so much. I've been doing sketchbook stuff as well. Very good idea, Devi. If you haven't, if you're a digital artist, look, I know it seems scary. It's not. It's a bloody sketchbook, but I get it. I understand it. Get a sketchbook and just constantly do little things. If you can't, just anything, like a cup, just anything. It has changed stuff for me so much in the last few weeks. I 1,000,000% recommend it. And test out different things, like test out colored pencil. Test out brush pens. I've been playing around with brush pens. They're freaking fun as hell. Really annoying, really frustrating, but really, really fun as well. And maybe even get yourself a super cheap sketchbook where it's just like your throwaway sketchbook, where you don't have to feel like, oh, it's all precious and whatever. Nah. Just use it to explore and try and understand stuff. So here's like a good little test of perspective. So like these little chair legs are going to be further forward towards us, and they're going to be throwing out some shadows. And I think these are super valuable little studies. Even if you're more focused on character stuff, I love it. It's good fun doing this. Just it changes it up as well. If you're getting frustrated with one thing, swap to another. Nothing wrong with that. Silvana Sanchez, hello. I just got your awesome class and a tablet to start my digital painting journey. Best regard. Fantastic. I'm excited for you. It's going to be good fun. Raggle Fraggle, definitely need to use a sketchbook again. I need to get more confident with my line work. Me and you both, my friend. It is a real different mindset. Let's grab... Okay, let's have a look here. Let's have a look. I might even want to just nuke that whole section. Now, I'm kind of in danger zone at the moment of bloody noodling. But what are you going to do? Okay. I might do a cheeky new layer just for this like tree thing over here. I might even make it a little greener, you know. This tree is dead. I want my tree to be alive. Matrice, hey Ben, it's 2 a.m. here. And I just spent the last 2 days working on a character sheet. I've been using your guides and some of Sergei Kolozov's black and white sheets. Thanks so much for your help. You bloody legend. Good work. Fat Cappy, watching the stream and sketching in my sketchbook, studying reference I've gathered through the week on a Pure F board. It's my first time trying to grow my sketching habit. Nice. We're all on the same journey. I like it. Miss Goof. I had a question. How do you color instantly when you select? I'm curious about that. It's a plugin that me and my mate made. Links in the description. It's called the Filthy plugin. Black Jam, welcome. But it doesn't mean that you need to do that. You could do this just as well with a brush and just being very selective with your decisions like that, and just whip the opacity up and the flow up 100%, and you could just literally come through and just do this, right? I just like it for the speed and the graphic nature. Actually, seeing some of Rob Ruppel's work was a big inspiration to make the plugin itself, you know. And you can just keep going and going and going. All the little details. We're not going to do that. We have other plans. But even trying to break it down into very simple value. Whoa, hello. Into very simple values. And it's the little things that you can look for. So for example, I'm trying to look at this here. What are the characteristics of this? I see this darker bluey kind of shape. I see this kind of lighter greeny kind of shapes in the windows. But what I'm also seeing is this kind of like dusty top, this lighter value on the edges of all the up facing planes and all the shadows in the downward facing planes. So that is how we can quickly get kind of an illusion of that kind of stuff. So we can kind of do our version of it. We don't have to do the same bloody shaped windows. Doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. All right, and I might just go straight for those little indications of like the dustiness on the top plane. Again, you could spend hours and hours and hours and hours doing this. It's just fun. Just to give us some 3D-ness, and then we can come through and then add a little bit of a darker value underneath here to emulate kind of the shadow that's happening. And then the shadow underneath here, because I think it's kind of like a door. So it might be a little bit darker. Right. And it starts to build the scene. Then we can have a look inside each of these windows. Like, okay, if we squint our eyes, they're not going to be all the same color. So we could maybe even do this one, darken that. Whoa, 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 whoa. Get out of here. Is that an encapsulated? No, that's fine. We could like make it one a little bit darker, but then we can also scooch the temperature a bit different, and then have some of it look like a reflection of the opposite side of the street where we're viewing it from. So we can start to really, really like, I don't know. You know what I'm saying. I don't have to keep rabbiting on about doing this stuff. But this also, this way of thinking can really help with gouache and traditional as well. And this is kind of like a precursor to me picking up some gouache and giving that a whirl as well. All right, we've got the roof here. How can we simplify this? What am I seeing? How, instead of going, okay, I mean, we could technically just come through and go, okay, I see all these darker, nothing wrong with that. But how can we simplify it even further. So if we squint our eyes, I'm seeing like cylinders. What's going to be the best way? So I can kind of, that the right width, maybe. Whoa, soon. Soon. Andy, what's going on? So I'm currently in art school, and I'm finding that it's really not helping me much for actually learning to draw better. And honestly, it seems like my professors don't really know any technical skills when it comes to art. Well, shots fired. Every course out there costs like an arm and a leg to get into, and I have no idea what I'm supposed to do to learn more. What do you do in this situation where it's very difficult to find something accessible that will help you get better? I mean, honestly, YouTube is a massive reference, you know. I don't know if I'm practicing referencing correctly at this point in time, though. Have several pages of just box exercises and perspective exercises, and it ends up not working when I try to apply it. And I want someone to explain to me how to tie together what you're supposed to be doing in all of these exercises. The most I've learned these past few months were from dropping into the Proko Premium course stream, nice, where one of Marco Bucci's courses were on. I need more stuff like that, but all Proko courses literally cost a liver. Does Ben Eblin have a Discord? I do have a Discord. Pop in there. Whoa. So what I gather, how do you get better for as cheap as humanly possible? Well, okay, first of all, I'm going to be doing this on the roof as sort of like pseudo cylinders, right? But we got to think about, I'll get to your question soon. But these are like pseudo cylinders, but they're just the base shape, and they kind of go in a straight-ish line. So I'm just going to place them in, and then we can refine them. This is how I'm simplifying these things. Honestly, I would start with a goal. Otherwise, you're just going to be scattershot doing exercises for no particular reason, if that makes sense. You know, if you want to do character work, I would really focus on like what are my favorite character artists posting, right? And then using exercises that they might recommend. A lot of them have YouTube channels. And then referencing that off of their work and seeing how that ties in. Also, as soon as you do, this is how I like to work. As soon as I learn something or I'm doing like an exercise, I try and apply it straight away. Instead of, say, for example, you've done like pages and pages of cube exercises, right? I would say awesome work, fantastic. Cubes are fantastic, but in the same session, try and utilize that cube. It might even be as simple as, mate, you got me on a tangent. Congratulations. It's not, I mean, it's pretty easy to do if I'm honest. But say, okay, you're doing a bunch of cubes, right? You've done a cube here. Now, as soon as you've done this cube, how do we reference that with a head? Okay? Even a skull. All right? Got the lines. This isn't the contour lines. The cross contour lines, I guess you'd say. Then how does this work with the skull? This plane is going to be referenced to this plane. Okay. I'll look at planes as well. Planes have really helped me out personally. So this plane of the skull is going to be the same plane here, but it's not going to be exactly the same as the cube. I don't want you to get it messed up thinking that, okay, this is exactly this. It's not. It's encapsulating the overall perspective of the head. I'll utilize parts of the cube. Maybe the bottom of the chin can match the bottom of the cube. Maybe this section of the brow can reference that part of the cube, but it's not sitting exactly where it is on the cube. It's kind of sitting in its own spot in 3D space. I almost use these 3D shapes as references to the vanishing points, if that makes any sense at all. All right. So if I was going to do the side of the, I don't even know what this is called off the top of my head, this part of the skull, right? The cheekbone part that sort of hooks back into here. Getting that, understanding that line is understanding this side of the cube. It's not saying that this part of the cube exactly has to fit in to that cheekbone and then you build off the skull like that. You can if you want to, but how I oftentimes use it is just as a like a reference. Almost like if I was grabbing this cube and then putting it right next to there and say, okay, how would that look? Can I reference what line best references or represents that side swoop, I guess. And then when I'm looking down at like the tooth cylinder, I'm looking up on top of it. All right, looking on top of the nose. And this, again, it's fucking annoying when people say this, but it's just also practice. All right, and that skull looks a little janky, but hopefully you understand what I'm getting at. All right. Anyway, congratulations, you got me on a tangent. Back to the little shop. Soon, that's a very good way to put it. That's how I think of it, at least. And then you'll start to understand. So simplifying isn't actually about building a head, for example, out of several cubes, rather knowing what the cubes mean in relation to the landmarks of the head. Fucking bingo. All right, that's how I use it. So it might not even be a cube, and why I find it useful to learn cylinders is like different shapes, because they might be more useful. They might be another shape in my toolbox to reference. Because if I, for example, if I'm looking at the head more top down, all right, you got the ear. Okay, this bottom of the chin, I like to reference more of a cylinder than a cube. That's just me, right? And if we go even more extreme angles, a cylinder to me, or even like a little more oblong kind of cylinder, makes more sense. And then we can even combine the two and cube out the back of the head. Right? So it's utilizing these as tools. It's not how do you... It's interesting because it's a very visual way to explain what I'm thinking about, is drawing the cube around this. This is what I'm thinking about to a certain degree, but I think I used to get lost with it as well. Sometimes I still do. With like perspective stuff and like stuff in books and that kind of thing. Sometimes it gets a little bit convoluted as to how much you can break it down. And is that actually what they're thinking about when they're doing this, like the character stuff and whatever. So yeah, hopefully that makes sense. Gelang, welcome. Catback, I think getting better is about rediscovering the joy for art like we have as kids. 1,000,000%. If you're enjoying the process, if you like just sitting down and like drawing like skulls and just like figuring out, because you know it, like as you get better, if you can draw the skull like really well in different perspectives, then you're going to be able to draw heads in different perspectives of like all the characters that you want to draw, you know, like, and you can just sit here for hours and hours and hours. That's where the fun comes in. It's less homework and it's less getting through this point of study where you're like finally at a certain point. Nah, I do this stuff all the time. I sit there and try and like turn stuff in space. Like I've got a coffee cup next to me. I'll try and do that. Right? And then I might just then do another skull and blah, 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 blah. The fundamentals are always coming into my work, you know. Got to have fun with it. It sounds trite. It sounds like, fucking, yeah, no. But it is what it is. If you're having fun with it and you're interested in what you're doing, you're going to have a lot more success, I believe. Okay, so we've got these here. Fuck, back to the cylinders. So now I kind of see this kind of shape on all of them, where the shadow is. So we're kind of like giving that illusion that they're actually cylinders now. And we're spending way too long on this fucking little cafe, but that's fine. We can come through here and start popping in that illusion. Da, 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 da. Maybe even less work is just to do that. And then we come over the top with the line work. Da, 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 da. Then there's like almost like another layer to them. So we can kind of make that illusion here of like that other layer. Thinking about the light source. Why is this line here? It's because this is like a shadow. Right? It just starts to give that illusion pretty quickly. And if I'm honest, this shape back here should actually be darker. So let's darken you up. And make it more vibrant. More orange. Cool. A bit lighter. A bit lighter again. That's fine, that's fine, that's fine. So now we just come through here. So now we kind of got that illusion, and we could really like knuckle down and then get this super, like get the saturation just bang on. Because it's daylight, it's going to desaturate a lot in the lights, particularly on this yellow. All right. Starts to really bring out that illusion pretty quickly. And then I'm noticing that I've completely missed like this section on top of the roof. And then we add a little bit of the old that kind of thing, which just grounds it a little bit in reality. Catch you later, Patrice. Yeah, the fundamentals are going to be similar across most courses. Find someone who can explain it in the way you understand. Very true. How do you apply studies? Fat Cappy, I keep getting stuck in the studying loop, but never seem to be able to get past the learning phase. Never feeling ready. Is there a go-to application of studies? Yes. Put that feeling aside of not being ready and try and achieve a piece that you're proud of, or that you've wanted to do, or that you're working towards, and attempt it. And that then will give you all the information you need of what you need to work on. Raggle Fraggle. Yeah. Lately I've been focusing on drawing characters, so I guess I'll try that. I want to be able to have an actual portfolio. Yeah, well, it depends what you're given the portfolio to as well. Christian Nee, welcome, my friend. Hope you're doing all right. Looking forward to our catch up tomorrow. Sorry, I've been slacking on the chat. Hold on. Soon. My pleasure. Hopefully you're feeling better about it, and just, yeah, keep at it. Tyler, you begin to enjoy the ride. That's right. Matt, hey Ben, awesome stream. Thank you. I think it's been a bit of a bloody schmozzle at the moment, but no, that's cool. I'm glad you're enjoying it. What's your most recent aha moment? I've been drawing along with Josh Hunter Black's YouTube videos and had so many aha moments. He's great. He's fantastic. Recently, especially with light and shadow. A recent aha moment. My recent aha moment has been something to do, it's a little bit more on the advanced side, but it's been to do with exposure, with light and shadow. So exposing for different scenarios and actually having a deeper understanding of midtones. That sounds so stupid, like, at least to me, but it's like, I actually understand what midtones, I think I do at least, understanding what midtones are and how I can utilize them in combination with exposure. But yeah. Paul OP, what's going on? But yeah, the whole exposure thing is very interesting. Because once you start to understand some of that stuff, it unlocks a whole nother level of like just control that you can have. Now what I'm seeing here really quickly, just as like a little tangent, all of these have like occlusion shadows. So what sort of stuff have you with what Josh has been saying, with your aha moment, what aha moments have you been having? I love to hear them. So these occlusion shadows are what starts to bring in a little bit of that realism. Blake Bloodworth, is there a good starting video to study along with you, or just hop on any of them? Honestly, just hop on any of them. You're here right now. I'm just going to finish this up real quick. I probably won't go too much further with this one, and then we're going to do some character stuff. But welcome. But I mean, if you haven't seen any of my stuff before, check out my YouTube video, like just the straight up YouTube videos, not the lives, to get an understanding of how I start to think about stuff. And then if it vibes with you, awesome. Right, you can see how we can start to really slowly bring this to a level of like, oh, or actually you can almost like feel, it sounds wanky, but like you can almost feel the light on the thing. All right, I'm going for another 5 minutes, and then we'll get to some character stuff. What can we do in 5 minutes? Gives me a good little goal. Appreciate it, Blake. Catback, my pleasure. Thanks for popping in. Paul OP, this is a lesson? No, all my streams are just me talking shit and drawing. Rebel art design. Can you make me a balloon bicycle from the Wedding Crashers movie? A recent aha moment for me is that clarity is everything. Nice one. Could you give some context on that? Ben, have you tried to design a non-human character? I have. Raggle Fraggle. This is like a big one. It's like 4,000 by 4,000. Wouldn't necessarily recommend it being that large, depending on how your system is. Sucks because there's so much more I just want to like noodle on. And things like this will break the reality so quick. Not having things pushed behind one another. What's in front, what's behind. Not being careful of that will kill the illusion faster than you can say, shit, that killed the illusion. So we come in here. All this back here would be quite a bit more desaturated. And then here, I think it's looking a little flat. So we can add because there is still light. Right. Oh, the phone. What's going on here? Okay, we're back. And I think taking care of these little details as well really brings something. Making sure that they fit within the scene, make sure that the shadows cast correctly. It all just sells the believability of it all. What have we got? Another little aha moment for me is really grouping the values together. Like, we know here in the background, these are power lines, right? You got power lines here. You got power lines in the background. So I don't want these to be super like contrasty, but I still want to have them there. So I kind of want to keep the values kind of contained to kind of that sky color a little bit more. Matt, I'm still new to drawing, just clocked 1 year in. Congrats. So really basic stuff, but noticing Josh's hard and soft edges in shadow depending on if it's form or cast shadow. True. Yeah, that was one of the biggest ones for me, like form shadow, and then depending on how quick Robles, appreciate you. Thanks for popping in. How fast the planes, like the angles of the planes, is how like hard an edge is and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, it's fun stuff. Sla, welcome. What are your favorite artists at the moment? Rob Ruppel, just at the top of mind. Rembert Montold, Kim Jung-gi, TB Choi, Angela Sung. Just, yeah, whole bunch. Matt, watching Steve Hampton's videos on drapery. Oh, yeah, nice. Yeah, he's a fantastic teacher. Cat bat, the water drain on the side of the building is throwing me off. Wouldn't know what that was without the ref. Yeah, that's fine. Doesn't matter. I mean, we could, because we've kind of like squished it and pushed it up a little bit more, we could, like, we're not going to finish this, so it kind of is what it is, but give it a bit more context. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of a little bit too dark. Oh my God, we're noodling too much. Let's get to character stuff. Finish off the roof. We're not even going to finish it off, but you know what I'm saying. Not being precious with it at all. Whoa, no. It's going to work. And then we come back through to make it a little bit more on the squiggly side. Yeah, did the job. Nice. We go again. Now this is a good little lesson on like contours and wireframing. It wouldn't make any sense. It would just look like a squiggly line if it didn't have the context of the 3D form underneath. Ta-da! Cool. I'll give you guys one guess of what I'm listening to right now. And if you're an OG, you'll probably guess it. Chances are of what I'm listening to. There you go. What's the... Cool. All right, look, that's fun. It had fun. More local colors, not too much like light and shadow and whatever, but I could spend another like bunch of ages, a long time on this. Maybe interpretation is part of the point though. Sorry, didn't mean to. No, it wasn't rude at all. No, you're fine. No stress. Matt, do you have any tips on drawing the areas between the features on the face, e.g. around the cheek and forehead, to not make it look empty? I do. We might get to a bit of that in a sec. Soon, is it a bad habit to try and calculate every bit of perspective, every construction, every anatomical detail? My sketches are often very messy and it makes it hard for others to critique. That's a good self-assessment. That's great that you understand that about yourself. I don't think it's bad or good. It depends on the use case. If you're doing technical drawings, it's fantastic. With stuff that needs to be really dialed in perspective-wise, hell yeah. But is it practical when you're doing stuff like this, like head drawings and just like character stuff and that kind of thing? Probably not. So it's, again, it really depends on the use case. Diego, how you doing? Cat back. He's rushing this and someone is going to be like, he took such great care as seen here in these... Northern Lemon. Katy Perry? No. Jeffrey. You cheeky bastard. Well, we got trolls. It's that time of the stream. Okay. So let's do some quick warm-ups. So I think, Matt, you asked about the cheek and the forehead. Yeah, there's these things I like to, I don't know, there's probably a better word for them. But I like to use things called whisper lines. It's going to be the best way to do this. All right, so let's see if we can. Dreamy Lines, how to master drawing stylized one for character design, as in drawing from different angles. I would get really confident with understanding how to manipulate 3D forms first, or at the same time. It doesn't have to be first. All right, so this is a 2D form I'm seeing out of this reference. It's just one iteration of it. All right, and we're just going to build on top of this. Now, one thing with the profile view, oftentimes I see people, and myself, I do it sometimes as well, the eye is way too close to the front of the head, and it makes it look a bit off. Right, looks like bulgy eyes. So I'm always conscious of seating those eyes back into the head, if that makes sense. All right, so now you got that, the temple. The hair can poke out a little bit more. Now, I'm not going for likeness by any means. I'm just picking up what it's putting down, playing, throwing in the little turtleneck here. Black Gem, my favorite artist, Eric Powell and John Zylstra. Ooh. So funny. As soon as I start drawing heads and stuff, the numbers just, on like Instagram in particular, they just like start creeping up. Little do you know that this stuff helps so much. But I get it. So really just trying to be more graphic with it all. And if I'm honest, like doing way more sketchbook work has been awesome. Just for my confidence in my line work. So let's knock him back. Nabin Dahal, hi Ben, I just happened to have found your live randomly. Welcome. How do you get over creative block? I feel lost at the times. You feel so lost at times. I'd love to know your take on this. Heart block. I always say, or what I like to do is look at others' work. Look at others' work and then others' work that I'm really interested in. And maybe outside of what I'm used to doing. So it might be landscape. It might be character stuff. It might be whatever. And then try and get inspired, you know? And then try something different. Get out of the norm that you've been doing. If not just for like an afternoon. Also make sure that you are getting outside, that you're exercising, you're staying healthy. That is a huge thing, at least for me. If you're asking my opinion, that's so important. Oh, I've got to turn the aircon on in a sec. It's getting bloody hot. But even things like this, you know how I was saying with this, right? The house, or the whatever it is. Stuff is in front, stuff is behind. This tree is in front, right? This is in front of this. Exactly the same, even at this minutia. This lip, right, is in front of that top lip, right, making that T line. If you want a refresher, go check out the video that I got on the line work. How I think about line work. It doesn't need a refresher, if I'm honest. But it all works together. You know? These lids are in front of this back part of the nose, or this like side part of the nose. All right, we can create an illusion of depth by suggesting that. The nostril is in front of this section. So it kind of just keeps going back and back and back in space. But not that much, right? Not with that perspective, but you get what I'm saying. I hope. Arjun, I bought your course from Proko, totally worth it. Arjun, you bloody legend. Hope you get a ton out of it. Gaming clips. Do you do coding? What languages do you know? I do coding. JavaScript's my main language. My main language. Oh, speaking of, I would like to show you what I've been working on. We've got run dev. Let's have a look here. So I'm kind of making my own mini course platform to host all my stuff on. All right, so I'm working on a course at the moment called Light Bulb Moments, a primer on light and value. And there's just like placeholder shit here at the moment. But the way that it's laid out is how I like to learn. So there's like the video, but there's also like context of what's going on here. All right, so it's going to be easier to, well, the goal is for it to be easier to navigate. It's got the main video up here, and then you've got all the sections, and it's broken down. I'm going to break it down into like the principles and the practice, so then you can go through and find the things that I'm talking about that I reference in the practice stuff. So that's enough of the sneak preview. But if you want to be the first to know about that, sign up to the newsletter, the emailing list down there, and you'll be the first to know when that's available. But yeah, I've been working a lot on that. We've just got login and auth working last week. There's going to be a Discord channel specifically for this. So yeah, make sure you check that out. Ben, I'm painting my portraits using the Asari head, but all of my portraits are looking like Asari head. How do you choose what planes to keep and avoid when using Asari head as reference? That's an artistic choice, my friend. I can't give you any answers for that without seeing the reference, without seeing anything. That is going to be a discovery that you've got to go through yourself. But if I was there in person, or I could see what you're talking about, I could help you out. Or what the decisions that I would have made. All right? Because technically there would be planes all over this thing, right? There would be planes here, side plane of the nose. All right? The mouth, everything. It could be planed up. But I've decided not to necessarily completely get rid of the planes. I might do a couple of these whisper lines just to indicate some of these planes as well. So you don't have to get rid of them completely. You can just make some a little bit more prominent, some a little bit less prominent. Michael Wink, welcome. Thought that was Echo from Arcane. Adam, I predict a sugary beat. Uh-oh. Dude, it'd be epic if he drew arcane characters. Yeah, I might do. Sugar beats. How you doing? Welcome back. So, hello Ben, I love your videos. Thank you so much. Do you plan to upload more videos in the future? That is going to be a massive focus of mine. This currently now it is. I'm going to do a lot more. Katie, what's going on? Books you recommend? Doesn't have to be art books. Deep work. Deep work. Also, The War of Art, not The Art of War. The War of Art by Stephen Pressfield. This one, Graphic LA. It is an art book, but I highly recommend. This is just an instant staple. What else? Deep work. The One Thing. That's a good one. Yeah, off the top of my head, those ones will do. That'll keep you busy. Atomic Habits. Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, Atomic Habits are fucking awesome. That's great. The War of Art and The One Thing, yeah. So even when we're thinking about the turtleneck, right, we can give indications of depth with the details that we add. For example, just like, let's say if we had just like a cylinder here and we had, it's just like a coin, right? Let's just say it's a coin just for simplicity's sake. And there's like ridges on the edge of the coin. As those ridges turn away in perspective, they're going to get closer to one another until you can't see them anymore. Same deal over here. All right. We can do the same with this. As it gets closer to us, it could face front on, and then as it starts to go away, they get closer and closer and closer, and that can be a really cool way just to show depth without being super explicit about it. I mean, it's pretty explicit if I'm honest, but you know, turtleneck 10 out of 10, cylinder 10 out of 10. I appreciate sugar beats. Yeah, no, Adam, The War of Art, absolutely fantastic. If you're going through art block or imposter syndrome sort of shit, it's a phenomenal book. It's all about being a professional, essentially, like acting like a professional. Like it's very good. Highly recommend. Now we should connect up. Sorry, I keep moving. I've got to stop moving the canvas. It's a bad habit. And there I go again. Now, even with the facial hair, I'm trying to follow the forms of the face, right? I'm not just sort of saying mustache, boom boom, you know? I'm thinking, okay, how is this actually going to wrap around? That upper lip. And again, things like this, things like facial hair, The lips, all the features are an opportunity to show form, to show the audience what you're trying to convey is a 3D object. There was actually, I think I remember, what was it? No. Hey. No. Keep going. This one. Words to live by. I can't read it at the moment. Hold on. Everything is an excuse to show depth, overlap, and form. Boom. Words to live by. Right? I'm going to need to turn the fan on. It's freaking hot. Give me 2 moments. Something smells like it's cooking. Not in a good way. Maybe it's the neighbours. Okay. I didn't understand the sentence, but yes, very, very profound. Basically, everything that you lay down should be focusing on showing overlap. What was it? I've got to quote the page number. Here. Page 84. Everything is an excuse to show depth, overlap, and form. So that's exactly what I'm talking about here. Depth with the perspective. Overlap with things like the lips. All right? And form. Like the mustache. It's great. I always love throwing glasses on people. I don't know why. All right, next. Also, you realize I'm not even seeing that green line right now, which is quite nice. My brain's kind of like blocked it out, which I'm grateful for. Catch you later, Catbat. Thanks for popping in. Oladiran, following along, and I definitely went mustache boom boom. Yeah, look, I sometimes go mustache boom boom too. Don't stress. Happens to the best of us. Also, I'm going to throw on the kettle. Okay. Be back in 2. The kettle is being thrown on. This is good practice as well, just for simple shapes. Letting you guys know I'll be back. Great opportunity. All right. Whoa. There we go. Cool. All right, the kettle is on. Adam, do you have any favorite visual art books? Anything you find yourself referencing often? Graphic LA that I just showed there. Visual art books. I'm sure I do. That I reference often. It depends. It depends on what I'm working on. Like the JC Leyendecker one's fantastic. And yeah, it really depends. And it swaps. It flips and changes. Okay. Now let's give this guy a whirl, shall we? He's got kind of a little cheeky bloody... Yeah, Adam, highly recommend it. Graphic LA is fucking sick. Let's scooch Instagram. I feel like I'm a little confined here. Scooch it over this way. So then I can at least draw a bit over here. Cool. Okay. Let's play. So what am I seeing? I'm seeing this. Boom. Boom, boom. That's the first big shape that I'm seeing. All right, not even worried about the mustache, not even worried about the expression. How do we start off with that big basic shape? Really push that expression. You know, that brow. You kind of want to connect them a little bit. So, right. Something like that. He's got a big kind of smile underneath that mustache. And that mustache is going to kind of follow that mouth movement. Bottom of the chin. Bup, bup, bup. I'd even like to see his head a little bit tilted forward. Just a little bit more like that. Now, eyes, decision. So he's looking off that way. Okay. Good spot to knock back, I think. I might even go the blue. Let's go the blue. Yeah, let's think about these eyes. Now this eye might be a little bit more squinted because he's smiling and the cheek's pushing up. Does that make sense? You can even check this with yourself, like if you're doing expressions, like what side of the face does what, how do the cheeks affect the eyes and all that stuff. Nah, way too far in. Now again, with the eyebrows, we want to wrap that around the head. We don't just want to be like, bap, bap, eyebrow. What I like to do is to wrap it around the head. Again, these are just suggestions. It's not the final be all and end all. Now, a nice little whisper line here to show the form of the nose, right? Now, just like going back to the cube, if we are, say, looking at this head similarly to this cube, we're going to see more of this side than this side, right? So, meaning we're going to see more of the back of the head than we are on this side. Simplify that hair down. Make sure that we give a little bit of volume to that hat. Volume meaning thickness. See, there's a rhyme and reason to everything that I'm doing here. Why is the hat in this direction? One, it's in the reference, and I kind of want to stick a little bit true to that. But two, it's sticking to the 3D forms that I'm creating here. He's like, Bennett, and all my really good messages for chat. Sugar, I can't keep up with your messages if I'm honest. Ask it, go for it. How do you deal with trolls? Because I had a lot of them yesterday. If you would not take advice from people that, like in real life, then just throw them away. It doesn't matter. if you wouldn't hang out with the person and respect their opinion, then you should, it's easier said than done, but you shouldn't respect their opinion when it's coming at you through social media. You know what I mean? In 2-point perspective, how do you rotate an object on the third axis? That's it. I'm not even sure what you mean by that soon, sorry. Drew Powell, how do you draw a female superhero in a leotard? That's a very specific question that I'm not going to be able to get to today, unfortunately. What comes after 2-point perspective? I feel like no one really explains the transition between 2-point and 3-point, and any 3-point tutorials out there just place the third points arbitrarily. Okay. Look, I don't think I'll go too far into this. The way that I think about the third point, so 2-point is like, I don't even really think about the points that much. Like this is 2-point or 3rd point, whatever. 3rd point kind of comes a little bit naturally. So and it depends if you're looking up or down at the object. If I'm looking down at the object, then things are going to converge. Right, at some point down here. Right, and depending on the horizon line is where these 2 points are. Right? So I'm not even really necessarily trying to plot this in a specific direction, because it's going to depend, like if this rotates down this way now, these should still follow, assuming that this is like a perfectly square cube. This is going to have like completely new vanishing points. So if we like, let's rotate this way. Right? This is going to eventually catch up to the vanishing point here. Right? The vanishing point, this is the stable, this is the constant, the eye line, the vanishing point. Then this one would converge back to there, and then this would come down to a different vanishing point on the 3rd point there. Now I'm not sure about this. I'm not super comfortable about teaching perspective, but as you start rotating things, the vanishing points in which they stay on the horizon line change, if that makes sense. So yeah, I've got to think through that, how to explain that a bit better, but yes. But I'm not even thinking about that necessarily. I'm not trying to get super perfect perspective. I just know if I want to place if I want to place this side of the beard, or the mustache, in perspective, I'll try and think, all right, where am I looking at it? I'm kind of looking at it front on, and this is kind of going back in space like that. All right, I'm not plotting any 2-point perspectives or anything like that. It's getting used to that kind of like intuitive perspective. But I'd recommend, I think Proko's actually come out with a new perspective course with Marshall Vandruff. I highly recommend that. Also, a very good book by Dong Ho Kim. I think that's a very good perspective one. Dong Ho Kim. He was a student of Kim Jong-gi. Space Drawing Perspective by Dong Ho Kim. Highly recommend that one as well. Sugar Beats art question: how can I get 5 new followers? How can you give value to 5 new people? Right? From your content, I don't know if it's educational content or if it's like just straight up art. I'd recommend if you've been posting similar stuff for a long time, changing it up. Experiment. See what might interest people. Also, go back through your saves on Instagram and see what's interested you in the past, I don't know, few weeks. And then you can start to get a good idea of like, oh, okay, this caught my eye. How can I use that in my strategy as well? Not copy it, but maybe copy the format. That could work. All right, so I've been rambling. My apologies. Rup, what's going on? Hey Ben, just curious to see you drawing on Procreate. Can you do next live on stream? I can't make any promises because Photoshop is just where I'm comfortable at. Points in 3-point perspective also change based on the field of vision, so you can honestly make them whatever you want, and the closer they are, yeah, exactly. That was a big, Michael, one big thing that I've, like an aha moment for me, because I've started to do more of this like fisheye kind of perspective sort of stuff, which has been fun. Right? The closer that the vanishing points are, the more extreme the angle is going to be. Right? And then the more crazy the stuff is going to be, right? All the perspective and whatever. Right? Versus, if you come over here, I don't know why this has turned into a perspective class, but if you had the vanishing points here and you did the same kind of cube, it's a little bit more subdued. Well, it's not even a cube, it's more of a rectangle, but you get the idea. Right? So it's like, whoa. Wide angle, not wide angle. Hopefully that makes some sense. Prasham, what's going on, my friend? Welcome. Inkbit, How to Draw by Scott Robertson. Highly recommend it. It is very dense. How to Draw is very dense. So I recommend Dong Ho Kim's perspective. Also Proko's perspective course, because they go like deep as fuck on perspective. But Dong Ho Kim's book, coupled with How to Draw, coupled with Proko's perspective course, you can't go wrong. Dark, welcome back. Welcome. 4 a.m. Far out. Oladiran, how do you work out placing both pupils? Sometimes my pupils come out looking too flat and has an inorganic feel. Okay. Good question. People will probably be sick of me saying this, but I've got to stop thinking that, because I got new people finding me every day and they don't know what I've said before. So I'm going to repeat some stuff. It is what it is. When I'm doing eyes, how do I get them to feel more 3D? A lot of that illusion has to do with how I'm placing the pupil itself, right? I'm thinking about it as if it's sitting on top of a sphere, even in this 2D, like this cartoony kind of style, right? So if I'm here, I think about the sphere and he's looking off to the right. I'm going to imagine that it's like that, right? If he's looking straight on, that's going to be pretty circular. Right, and if he's looking at more extreme angles, hopefully you can see that. I'll just erase that top bit. It's a nice little hack to get eyes feeling the way that you want them. soon. How many volumes of that book are there? What book? A quarter in the square jar. Look, that square jar's going to fill up fucking quick. Bashar, how you doing? Here, we're trying to think about the 3D volumes still. This beard will continue to come up here. He's got his shirt. We could even make that. I reckon that beard needs to be a little bigger. I think someone asked about beards earlier on. I don't even know if you're still here. Feel like they just need a hand here is calling me. Some sort of strap. He's on an adventure. Sla, really helpful streaming. You doing this often? Yeah, every week. Same time, every week. How many volumes of Dong Ho Kim's Space Drawing? I think it's just one at the moment. I think it says volume 1, but I don't think the second volume's out. But it's fantastic. I highly, highly recommend it. Someone getting his attention from behind? Could be. He made him Luigi. Nice. Or backpack strap. Dark, you probably answered that before, but I'm about to start my first art-related job as a layout artist. Fantastic. Congrats. How do I shake the feeling that I'm not good enough for it or as good as the others with me? I would trust the judgment of the people that have hired you. Right? That's the first thing. You've got hired. They've seen your work. And that imposter stuff is annoying. It may not go away completely. I still get it all the time. But it's just one of those things. You just got to logic your way through it. Like, do you think that they've not hired people before, you know what I mean? Like, they know what they're looking for. They see potential where, like, where they put their money, you know what I mean? Marcio, how you doing? Yeah, Adam, exactly right. Overcompensate by 21 Pilots. Yeah, the 21 Pilots drums are pretty sick. Just have that thumb slip underneath the jacket there. So now we're just adding that little bit. Just a little something, you know. Cool. I have a tendency to not finish my thoughts, my lines, really. That's something I've got to get better at. Karen Carpenter rings a bell. Who's your favourite drummer? Probably Travis Barker. Yeah, no worries, Dart. Thanks for popping in as well. Hey, I was thinking about buying your course to help me break down shapes better and improve my shorthand. Fantastic. Well, now's the best time to do it. I think it's the last day of Black Friday. Links in the description on Proko. Yeah, no, I definitely know I don't finish sentences. I'm even thinking, like, like thoughts when it comes to like the thought of the back of the hat and the top of the hat and that kind of thing, and even underneath here, like what this is kind of a little bit sloppy, which is fine. It's a sketch, but now this nose, making a little tweak here just to have that nostril just a little bit tilted away from us. Just to give it a bit more dimension. Can we make this more extreme? Does it look silly? Yeah, it looks like he's been punched in the face. That's all right. At least we know now. And I think I can push this hat all the way back here to show the overlap. Cool. Fun. All right. Whoop. We're on one layer. Let's try this one. I appreciate it, Sugar Beats. Yeah, I do overthink. Michael, are there any drawing exercises that you feel was especially helpful for understanding and communicating form? Yeah, again, the simple 3D shapes. Simple 3D shapes. Like just sitting down and cubing it out. You know? Tumbling it in space. Thinking every time, am I looking on top? Am I looking above, below? Right. Then you can translate that to tumbling skulls or even simplified heads. Okay, maybe we're looking like way on top of this one, and then maybe we're looking a little bit on top / to the side of that one, and then slowly working towards then using these as tools to then draw whatever you want. All right, I'm going to make a quick coffee, and this will be the last sketch, I think, because I've got to get working on that course. APE Designs, for the lasso mod, do you need to close the loop for it to work? No, you don't. I don't think. Let me just double check. No, you don't. Yeah, look, from the views perspective, Sugar Beats, I should color it in, but I've got no time. I've got to work. Don't you dare raise that mustache in the eyes. All right, be back in a second. I need something to put the coffee in. Also, one thing that I've learned recently, air quality and actually cracking open a window could... I was feeling very, very tired and sluggish when it came to like roundabout now throughout the day. And I think I'm reasonably healthy, like with eating, exercise, like everything. Like I was trying to get all the variables, having great sleep, etc., etc., etc. One thing that I didn't account for was actual air quality in the room that I'm working in. I would have the window closed. I would have no air conditioner going, and I'd just be in here all day. And Francis, he was talking to me about an air monitor that he got himself, and how quickly that the the CO2 or the carbon dioxide that you breathe out can like make the air quality in the room terrible really quickly, and then that actually impairs can really heavily impair your concentration, and like all that sort of stuff. Very interesting. Ape Designs, legend. Plant a tree in there. There you go. Fixes all of it. Helpful to turn the lights on around when the sun goes down. Yeah, definitely. Adam Victor, I wish I could have coffee too, but it gives me anxiety. Give a yerba mate a go. Or matcha. I find that yerba mate gives me the energy, but it doesn't give me the terrible feeling. All right. See, sometimes I'll start with a circle. And sometimes I'll start with squares and whatever. Okay, so the head is kind of tilted this way, and her neck is kind of... How much do we want to play that up? I don't know. Nah, it looks like she's kind of like, huh? And even the way I'm holding the pen now with like doing the brush work, like the brush pen stuff in the sketchbook, it's translating to digital. Like I'm starting to become very deliberate with the lines that I'm putting down, which is nice. Sugar beast, no, not today, not today. Manuel, when replicating a real life picture, how do you know, get the anatomy of the face correct since every face is different? Is it by practice or is there a method to it? A bit of both. Big Kid 23, you're too kind. Thanks for popping in. The anatomy is something that you learn over time, but I think it's even more important to learn simple shapes so then you can observe anatomy, simplify those down into simple shapes, and then manipulate it however you want. See, I'm not thinking about, like, you'll probably see some diagrams of the lips of where you've got like the center bubble there and then this and this and this, and then you connect them all up. And that I'm not thinking about any of that. And like how you've got two here, like I'm not thinking any of that. I'm thinking large, even to this degree. Large, simple shapes to begin with. And this is just for stylization, right? It could help definitely even for realism. I'm starting to play around with this like weird hybrid ear shape. I usually do like the forward or backwards 6. All right, depending on the ear shape. All right. What I've been trying to do is add even more depth with the little, I don't even know what you call that thing. So it gives, again, opportunities to add depth and overlap Sugar beets, that'll be interesting. Get all the transcripts of all the live streams. See, that bottom lid is like that. Such a good tool for expression. So what I want to do is separate these hair chunks out to better manage them. I think she's looking a little bit too crazy. So, more angry, less crazy. I appreciate it, Dark. That's just 3D volumes. The power. Fourth, hi Ben, a question. How do I let go of my grip in sticking to anatomically correct figures? I've been feeling that these restrict me from going berserk in character designing. Again, my apologies for repeating myself for those that have been listening. Understanding the, not so much how you're saying like anatomically correct, I would focus on looking at these shapes, breaking them down into simplest shapes possible, then being able to manipulate them in 3D space. And then you can start to play around with the shape and form and the size and whatever you want. But I would really focus on, instead of thinking about this as like a nose, I'd think about this as like a weird little cone, not a cone, like a half, chopped in half cylinder. All right? Then, once you get better at manipulating these simple 3D shapes, then it's game on. You can do it however you want. And then you can start to hide your working out. So instead of me being so explicit with this being like a half a cylinder for the top lip and like a half a cylinder for the bottom lip, then you can start to hide it from the audience and then just choose the lines that you want them to see, that still describes the form. I might not even do this whisper line on the top of that nose. I might even just do this. But it's still there. The thinking's still there. Hopefully that makes sense. I reckon I will do that whisper line because I like it there, but... Alright, and then we might just keep it simple. And then you can decide if you want this to all be line work, or if you come through and you want to color it, you might not even line work the lips there. That they might just be colored parts. Like you do the color of the top lip, the color of the bottom lip, in like different flat values. So it's just understanding the simple 2D shapes. I'm telling you, it is freedom, baby. And even like this is where you can get little finicky, like you can have that indication of the mouth open ever so slightly. Sugar beats and sparkles, I tell you what. Practicing quick gesture or portraits will make you more loose. Agreed, Dark. Lee Strawbling. So lips to start out with look like those duck lips, kind of, in my head. Fourth, it's interesting. I'm going backwards now, and I'm trying to get really clued up on all the anatomy. Like I've been doing a lot of foot anatomy in particular because I always struggle with drawing feet. So now I've been testing myself daily on how I would draw feet in different perspectives. Still not quite there. Like this is the back of the foot. Right, but just understanding more about the anatomy and getting it a little bit more correct. And it's all just drilling it as well. Getting that quote unquote mileage in. But it's like concentrated mileage. It's not just scribble time. But there's a time and place for that as well. David Arts, yeah, it is a lot better on Instagram, YouTube. Dwicky, hi Ben, can you give some tips about action lines effect, like in the comic book? It's not something that I think about too much, so I don't think I can actually. My apologies. Not saying that it's not something you should. It's just not something that I've really thought too much about. Now here I'm just practicing my line work a little bit, indicating how the hair moves in 3D space. And how these are moving around in perspective, these braids. And we'll see less of this one in the back here, because this is going to be occluded by the brow. And I think that this ear is a little bit too large and a little bit too facing towards us. So we just knock it back. And there you go. That feels a little bit more natural. See, I've used the reference as just a reference. It doesn't look anything like the reference, if I'm honest. But I'm taking bits and pieces. Even these little lines here. I love that. So then I incorporated that here. Cool. Fun little sketch. Manuel, hey Ben, also I've been practicing anatomy every day, but I still feel stuck. Any tips for getting better at it? How to handle tricky poses or angles? I struggle with that a lot. Again, thinking about things in 3D space and not necessarily thinking about the anatomy itself, but the shape that it is can help a lot. And how long have you been doing that for, Manuel? Because I mean, if it's been like a few weeks straight, you got to give yourself a little bit of time for it to sink in. What is your favorite hand position to draw? Oh, I don't know. Any hand position doesn't really matter to me. Also, I joined your IG live last week. Great to have you back, Lee. Ape designs, you're too kind. Sugar beets. So do the cockatoos live outside your house? No, that's in the city. So that was opposite the zoo. And I was actually picking up Graphic LA. And they were just hanging out on the railing next to the lake. I was like, oh, what's going on, boys? And it was just hanging out, not doing. You get really close. I mean, I could have touched them if I wanted to. I wouldn't want to because I bloody bite your finger off. But they're so loud though, cockatoos. They are so loud. Ape Designs, nah, just work for myself. Doing the social media thing. Doing this with you guys. Raggle Fraggle. Give the tilted brush a go. It's pretty great. I like it. I was so jealous. I thought they lived near you. They do. Those two in particular don't. I can look out my window now. If I just walked out and looked out the window, I'd see cockatoos. Chady, what's going on, my friend? Grecke, great to have you. Appreciate it, Adam. Fourth, yeah. Look, it's just keep practicing. Keep not being afraid of it looking bad, because that's the only way that you're going to be able to experiment. So get used to it looking bad before it looks good, so you can test things out. Test the eye spacing. Test the size of the eyebrows. Test the size of the nose. The placement of the nose. Test all the time. Give yourself a lot of leeway. So before we head off, I must say that the last day, I think it is today, I may be mistaken, but I'm pretty sure it's today, the Black Friday sale on proko.com. Links in the description if you want to check out. Let me just whip it up for you. Here. Illustrating a stylized character. This right here isn't available on like this little demo that I'm doing of turning the head. This isn't available on my Gumroad tutorial. It's only available, it's a Proko exclusive. It's about 2 hours of content for that one. It's me actually talking through it. And yeah, highly recommend checking it out. Save 20%. Black 20 at checkout. Go have some fun with it. Also, working again on, I might even I'm tempted to do a stream of me actually working on the course. So if people have questions, because I'm going to be putting this out into my Discord. So this is a course I'm working on. It's going to be, the working title is Light Bulb Moments, a primer on values and light. I'm working on this, but I'm going to be putting it out to my Discord very soon for people to sign up and test it out. So sign up to get on the Discord, 1, and 2, just to make sure you double get it. Sign up to the newsletter in the description, because this is something that I'm working on now, and I do want to get feedback, because it's not necessarily for me, it's for you guys. So if I can make something that's super valuable, that's the goal. Filthy plugin, you know where it is. Links in the description. Road Art, I had the worst day ever. Sitting down and drawing alongside you made me happy. Thank you and good night. Road Art, thanks so much for popping in. I'm glad it could have made your day a little bit better, and hope you have a great tomorrow. You wake up and everything's a lot better. No sugar beets. I refuse to ever say that. Actually, no, I don't want to make any promises. But I don't know, I just don't want to say what you've put there. I love making art look weird and bad. That's why I get trolls. I get it as well. I get people saying, oh, it doesn't look right. Oh, blah, 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 blah. And I'm just like, hey, fuck off. I don't give a shit. Like, well, okay, cool. The type of person that comments that stuff is not someone that I want to hang out with in real life. So it's like, cool. Is there Cyber Monday for the mod? There isn't currently, no. The only thing is the Proko course. Well, my thing on Proko that has the exclusive Proko content. Lee Strawbling. Yeah, I'm thinking of it. Thank you, Sugar Beats. Soon, if you do make a course, could you every once in a while run raffles for a few people to get free entries? Potentially. Do you ever plan on doing any critiques of some sort? Yes, I do. Honestly, like when I've got a project, I've just got to like hammer it. And that's what I'm doing with this value and lighting course at the moment. And then I'll start to like, as this year progresses in 2025, I do want to start adding critiques and that kind of thing as well. But yeah, Sugar Beats, I appreciate you. That's why you typed it for me. It's afternoon here in Australia. 4th, it is 1:35. 4th, where are you based? Can I bring a cockatoo into the studio? Imagine. I'm based in South Australia. But yeah, that's it. Plug's over. Nothing else. Filthy plug-in. You know where to find me. I'm going to be posting a hell of a lot more. Also leading up to the value stuff, I'm going to be sharing a lot of things from the value course as well, which will hopefully help out. And sharing all my aha moments, you know, it's basically what I would have loved to have had as I was learning. Like I'm basically writing it to my younger self, like making every course that I put out is like a thing to my younger self. It's like, all right, this is what I wish I knew, and in different contexts and stuff like that. I appreciate it, David. New South Wales, nice. Sugar Beats. So it's less of a critique and more of a roast. Nah, I appreciate you popping in 4th. It's Jalil. How long does one drawing usually take for you? So something like this, I don't know, it took about 15, 20 minutes if I wasn't talking. All right. Quick recap. Where did we get to? We did a little color study. Mainly a shape and local color study. But trying to translate something a little bit more plain into a little bit more wonky, which was fun. Then just did some nice little portrait studies. Some studies. All right, stylizing stuff, playing around with shapes, a few little tangents here and there on perspective, which was fun. And then we landed on this lady. But yeah, look, as always, it's an absolute bloody pleasure coming here every week, having you guys show up. You're the freaking best. I get just as much out of this as I hope some of you do. And yeah, it's going to be happening, as always, every week, Monday. Keep a lookout for new content. Going to be dropping a new YouTube video soon, dropping that course. The goal is before Christmas. So yeah, join the Discord and the newsletter just to be made sure that you on top of all that. And yeah, have a bloody fantastic week. And I'll catch you in the next one. Toodaloo. And as always, I'm still here. Appreciate you, Prashan. I'm trying to find the tab to close the stream. Hold on. All right. Catch up.